So, a quick recap about Pantheon of Hallownest in case somebody isn't aware. This is 44 bosses in a row, starting with the very simple bench by King and working all the way up to Absolute Radiance. And
yeah, so one thing you'll notice coming up with the Vengefly King is that the first one ends up going down a lot faster than the second one because it is lower health.
Yeah, and a very very common theme in this category for this Pantheon is also that we use a Bishweek a lot, because Bishweek deals 120 damage with current charm loadout, since we have Shaman Stone. And that is very powerful when you can get them off consistently.
It is. We're also going to be using Quick Slash, so sort of getting the perfect harmony between getting the nail damage to spell damage. We're really going to be zooming through some of these bosses. You can see False Knight just goes down in an instant.
I just realized something really, really bad. Give me 1 second. For some reason, every time I open Hollow Knight lately, VSync likes to be on. And I don't know why. So, it felt kind of laggy. I don't know if you saw me get hit as much as I did by Gruesmother. VSync is terrible in Hollow Knight. Don't play with VSync on.
Oh, I just assumed it was a general run, because that's how much I get hit by Grossmother. So, most charge you can just get 2 free Shade Souls on emray, and that just deals a shitload of damage.
Yeah, so emray getting a bit of bad RNG with the Moss Charger jumping. You always want him to do the dash to the end of the screen attack, so you can get all those hits in with Quick Slash. Luckily though, it does that attack second, and able to make quick work.
The early Cyclone and Hornet just guarantees a stun, basically. It doesn't work against Hornet 2, but it works perfectly against Hornet 1. And as a fun tidbit, Hornet 1 in Pantheon 5 actually has more HP than Hornet 2, so hopefully we'll see Hornet 2 go down a lot faster.
Now we see where in Pantheon 1 there would be a pool and a bench to replenish health, instead just have the God Seeker. And next up is Gorb. Gorb can kind of troll you if he teleports around the arena a bunch.
Which is what he's doing.
Like he's mostly staying in place. Oh, and as soon as I say that, he starts teleporting.
Notorious troll character Gorb. We want to end it with a bit of soul, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. So,
yeah, so this next boss coming up is Dung Defender, and you're going to be seeing a Scream Skip on him, similar to the one that's done in the 106% run, if you saw that relay. And Emery's going to be using specific damage rotations to ensure that she can get both the first and the second Scream Skip.
Yeah, we're going to be using that the Scream Skip trick on quite a few bosses in this run. It doesn't work against all of them, but it works against a surprising amount, actually.
Also, I know it looks a little bit scary. We do intentionally damage tank quite a bit. So a lot of...
Yeah, I just unintentionally do it.
A lot of what I'm taking is intentional, or some of it's me being bad, but most of it's intentional.
Yeah, there are a lot of opportunities in fight to heal. Many of the bosses have windows where you can heal, and there's also resting points in all the Pantheons where you can get a free full heal. So trading damage for healing is actually a valid strategy.
Yeah, in fact, I would say many times it's even safer to just get the damage in and get the boss over with as quickly as possible, so that you have less opportunities to get hit. I think it's easy if you heal too much to kind of get stuck in a cycle where you heal, then you get hit, then you heal again, and get hit. Whereas just going full on foot on the gas.
God. Nobody saw that.
What just happened? Oh, okay. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened there.
That is perfectly standard for this fight, by the way. Nothing weird.
I fat-fingered a key that we're not going to talk about.
Yeah, nothing happened. In this bench room, could you turn us up a little bit? Apparently we are kind of low.
Okay, let me turn down the game audio, maybe. Hold on. Let's see if turning down the game audio is a little bit better.
Yeah, Blue will just have to manage. Sorry, Blue.
Not sorry.
So we skipped the life, right? Because Em doesn't need it. She's
yeah. You can also see with Oro and Motto kind of the strength of just kind of shrieking and being willing to damage tank, because they just go down instantly, and the danger is kind of mitigated by how quickly you end the fight.
Yeah, M didn't get quite as many double hits on the Shade Souls there as she would like to think, but we still managed to make it out.
By the way, does this sound better, Blue?
He's informed me that he does, yes. Crystal Guardian 1 is kind of a joke / pushover, but if you end with this fight with quite a bit of soul, you can just throw like 3 shrieks on this guy immediately, and it deals so much damage. So
yeah, you can also see part of the difference between 106 and 112%. You know, with that fight, you're mostly relying on the quick slash and the nail damage, whereas, you know, in 106%, you're mostly relying on the spells. So it's just kind of cool how even in the other runs, you see almost all the damage coming from spells, but in Pantheons, the nail damage kind of catches up, and you start to see a lot more of both.
Unfortunate spot for him to teleport there.
Yeah, it happens.
Soulmaster RNG still exists.
Oof, nice.
Oh, right, if you guys want to talk about my charm build, I'm basically using the same build that we would use in 112% speedruns, only I'm using Dream Molder with it because Dream Molder is just really, really good.
Yeah, and since it's a God Home save, she actually has an extra charm notch compared to the 112 round, so she has space for it.
Yeah, and 112%, because of geo-routing, you end up skipping the last Saluber notch, and so just getting that extra notch in the Godmaster file is pretty nice, because Dream Wielder is super useful against some of these bosses.
Yeah. So M is trying to collect a little bit of soul here for the second phase of the battle, because soul is really useful against that phase. So that's why she's not using spells initially.
Also, Quick Slash does about as much as... does about as much as Abyss Shriek if you can get like at least 3 or 4 hits in.
Yeah, you're also going to see some positioning from emray to be sure to hit these Abyss Shrieks. It's a little tricky to get at first, but able to get it pretty nicely.
Yeah, managing to get the Shriek on 2 Mantises basically means you skyrocket your damage, so it's really so much better to save the soul for the second phase.
Emray going a little low. Luckily, there is a bench after this, so health isn't too big of a concern.
Yeah, the most important thing is ending this with soul so that we don't have to waste time in the hot spring, and we have full soul from Marmu coming up.
Yeah, Marmu is terrible, but also much easier in Pantheon 5 because the arena is so much smaller, so you can just sort of scream at her a bunch and she dies. And you don't have to worry about her bouncing around.
There's a few bosses like that where kind of the ascended, like harder arena, quote unquote, ends up being a little easier than the regular one.
And then No Eyes exists.
Yeah. No Eyes and Markoth.
So we started with a spin because it gives us so much soul, and then we basically just start screaming at Lukmar.
Yeah, so one kind of cool thing about the Cyclone Slash is the number of hits it does is dependent on how fast you mash the nail. You can get, I think, at max 11 hits. And so for a lot of the Cyclone drops that you do in 112%, you want to just never hit it at all so that you fall slowly. Whereas in this case, you're actually going to mash as quickly as possible because not only do you get more hits, it also makes you fall more slowly so that you end up like kind of next to Flukemon for the entirety of the Cyclone.
I thought the max hit was 7.
Oh, it might be 7, I'm not sure.
I guess I've never actually used the Cyclone that much, so...
I'm bad at counting, so I wouldn't know.
Galleon is kind of interesting, because Galleon floats a little bit up and down as you're fighting him. And if... you can see that he freezes and doesn't take knockback anymore when you start summoning the small spinning discs, and if he freezes close to the ground, you basically just destroy him.
Right here, I opened with a certain spacing so that I could get a double hit right there. That double hit is 100% consistent, as long as you're spaced correctly.
Oh, sweet. Thanks for that, Em.
You didn't know that?
Yeah. Nope.
I'm giving out the strats that are going to get me bopped.
Yeah. I don't actually know how to fight these bosses effectively, I just do it. So Shio here can't actually be dream nailed, so that's why Em isn't even bothering. She's battling instead. But usually we try to dream nail bosses after we beat them to collect just a tiny bit of extra soul.
This is my worst boss, just
yeah, and
for
with
the
Dream Wheeler,
record.
it's going to be even more soul, which is nice.
The
The Hallownest is a
most-
really interesting boss, mostly because of his very low weight, so it's a bit awkward to get shrieks on.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the most disappointing thing about this boss is that his music doesn't play during this fight. I'm a big
Yeah.
advocate for Hive Knight's theme. And he's gone. So this is Elder Who. Elder Who is one of the biggest trolls in the game.
If you were watching the True Ending run earlier, don't worry, Elder Who is also horrible in every Hollow Knight speedrunning category, including 112.
Yeah, he has a tendency to either teleport across the whole stage, or as he gets lower in HP, just become outright immortal, as he does the like, pancake slam. But
No, I haven't gotten this all day. Unfortunate. I went for a scream skip there, which is kind of like we don't actually know what causes the Pantheon scream skip to work or not. It could be spacing, it could be load dependent. We don't really know. So most Pantheon runners just kind of go for it and hope that they get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so one additional thing you'll see is different between 106 and 112% is that the collector actually staggers on this patch, so Emray's using that as an opportunity to get some soul with Dream Wielder, which is very nice.
yeah, Dream Wielder really helps with soul collecting. So Godhammer is a very easy fight, but we do want to try and end it with at least a little bit of extra soul.
Unlike
Just-
Pantheon, unlike 106%, Godtamer can be hit while he's rolling on this patch, so that definitely helps us out.
yeah. I'm using a soul to get. Oh, I guess you do have Dream Wheeler, so you can collect soul effectively here.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Another cool thing is if you destroy the mount, the rider just kind of stops fighting and gives up, so you don't have to destroy the rider as well, which is nice.
So we want a lot of soul because Grim has a tendency to balloon and be invulnerable to nail. But when he does this, we just scream a bunch, and that totally kills his vibe. So he just leaves after a while. And we're using Drumstorm to get some extra soul from our screaming. This is like the one place where we use Drumstorm, by the way. Other uses are incidental, but this is like the big key spot.
Yeah, and Grim balloons at every quarter of health, so when he reaches 75%, 50%, and 25%, and what Emray managed to do there is actually get a balloon skip, where the 25% balloon just didn't come out because he was already dead at that point. And that's a pretty big time save.
Yeah, that fight is the main reason that we use Grub Song in the Pantheon speedrun builds. Grub Song makes that quick kill possible.
So Watcher Knights coming up here is kind of also one of the easier fights. A Wish Shriek, if spaced properly, can fully hit them even when they're grounded, and it kind of just destroys them completely. Because each of them has very little individual HP, and they have very long spawn and animation, so M has a lot of time to just move up and
Oh
carry
no.
it up.
This is really bad RNG. The only thing we don't want them to do is roll across the arena, and that's all I'm getting.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. I'm using these dive iframes well though to avoid all the damage. In general, if there's ever a boss you're struggling against this game, just use more D-Darks. It's such a powerful spell.
Yeah.
Why are you dying to
So
bosses?
here we
Just speed art.
We see Umu. It's one of the big run killers based on RNG for any percent. Here it's still a pretty heavily RNG boss, but Emray able to get pretty good RNG. Umu spawning those little Umas on the first attack, which is always what you want to see.
Yeah,
And able to get a one cycle as well.
Yeah, unlike any percent, Corel doesn't spawn in here, so we had to break Umu open with the Umas, which also do massive damage, but it's RNG whether their Umu spawns them in or not. So here we have, oh, this is not Hornet, wait. Oh. Anyway, so this is Nosket. She's a dwarf Advent Viking.
Basically, yeah. She does still go into the ceiling like that. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. She does still go into the ceiling like normal mouse does, which is something that loses a bit of time. Oh no, unfortunate late spawn on the ghost.
Ah, that's painful. So M is using a very precise, or not super precise, but somewhat precise spacing on Nosket to get 2 down slashes, dashing away, and then shooting a fireball to double hit. It's just probably one of the most efficient ways to deal damage to Nosket.
And luckily getting the hacky sack RNG to be able to knock around Hornet's head.
Oh, I actually practiced hitting her off screen so that I would always be able to get the hacky sack.
Yeah, so next boss here is Sly. Sly is pretty cool, but we don't want to pay him, so that's why we're fighting. And he's entering second phase already, apparently. Second phase is kind of awkward because he jumps around a lot. M is using a kind of precise positioning to get a full shriek on him, and just destroy him with spells.
And here you can also see what Xeno was talking about earlier with the Dream Nails, able to get up to full soul, which is nice for Hornet 2.
Oh, I didn't know you could Dream Nail Hornet 2 before. Anyway, so here's Hornet 2. Hornet 2 again has less HP than Hornet 1, so she will probably get absolutely destroyed here. I would expect it to be approximate. Yep, that shriek.
Yeah, so a bit of a bad RNG with Hornet first parrying and then going around, but emray was able to handle it pretty well and get Hornet down pretty quickly.
So this is when we were entering the Pantheon 4 bosses, where the Pantheon finally starts getting slightly interesting, is generally how I think about it, because the first 20 or so bosses are kind of a friction with.
Yeah, this is where the bosses start getting, putting out their attacks a little faster, and also where a lot of them start doing double damage, like Crystal Guardian 2, but luckily emray not even taking single damage.
Yeah. So here we have easier Broken Vessel. You basically try to do the same thing of just unlocking him in a corner, but he's not cooperating super much right now.
There he goes. Never mind.
Yeah, there he starts cooperating. So much for me jinxing it.
Oh no. Heck. That was unfortunate.
The reverse caster curse.
Yeah, you know, I should just say that every boss isn't cooperating, so they start cooperating.
And emray able to keep one of the ghosts alive to Dream Nail. Here we get No Eyes, and oh, No Eyes already not cooperating. Hopefully we'll jinx it. We're back.
Yeah. Ooh, No Eyes randomly can randomly teleport every time she takes damage, and she is really keen on teleporting around today.
It's alright, I handled her.
Yeah.
We're good. What? How did that hit me?
So here we see Trader Lord, very different than the 106% fight. He's got a lot more health, as well as the attacks doing double damage.
He also has some new attacks, like this thing where he slaps the ground and stands out shockwave. His HP is still low enough that you kind of just destroy him before he gets to show all of them, but...
Alright, bless for the Reddit. I have to.
Nice.
So here you see yet another screen skip. Being able to take damage while in the D-Dark iframes is going to allow emray to gain control a little early and get huge damage onto White Defender. However, unlike Dung Defender, the second screen skip is a little less consistent. Not only does it come later, Dung Defender also, or White Defender also doesn't stagger, so it's harder to kind of time that D-Dark out of a stagger. So
yeah, not to mention.
oh, emray just unfortunately missing it just because the White Defender backdashes a little.
Yeah, White Defender has a tendency to backdash before he screams, which is really awkward and annoying. Luckily, we can damage tank quite a bit in this fight because there's a bench coming up immediately. So it's not too big a deal to take damage there.
Yeah, since it's a marathon, I'm gonna go ahead and get full soul for this fight coming up because the next 3 bosses are all very, very intimidating, even to an experienced 112 runner.
Yeah, having them all in a row is extremely scary. So this is Sultan. Sultan has a tendency to troll you really hard by teleporting across the stage. We're just generally not cooperating.
Yeah, Soul Tyrant is kind of the big brother of those Soul Twisters that we saw earlier in Soul Sanctum, where just teleports, you know, all the way around. Wherever you don't want him to be, that's where he's going to be. Able to get a stagger, get a shriek in with the stagger is big damage.
Yeah, that really helps. Handle that pretty well. Soul Time dives a lot faster than Soul Master, but I don't know if he actually has less HP, but it definitely feels like he has less HP than Soul Master in that phase. Might also just be because he moves faster in general.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and try to play relatively safe because in practice I've been pushing this and been playing really, really well, but I do have my concerns about Markov.
Yeah, Markov
Why
has
would
built
you
many
do
a
this?
P5 run.
Oh my goodness. That is literally the worst spot he could possibly be in.
Yeah, that is painful. So Markov has a really awkward arena in his ascended form. It severely restricts your movement and actually means that the dream nails that he's sending out have a much higher chance of hitting you because of your restricted movement. M is using the range of Dash Slash to try and outrange his shields and hit him through them. Worked out alright, I suppose.
Emray getting to pretty low health, but able to take out Markov, luckily. Here we see Great Prince Zod. Another pretty difficult and pretty RNG heavy boss.
Yeah. Great Prince Zod has several attacks that share the same tell, so it's really awkward if you are inexperienced or just happen to guess wrong how you're gonna dodge that. Oh, and yeah, you staggering into your stone is unfortunate. So Emray.
So this is another fight that.
Go ahead.
Sorry, this is another fight where Emray is going to be using the D-Dark iframes pretty heavily to dodge some of these attacks.
Yeah, especially because of our low health. Like we said, if you struggle against a boss, cycling in more D-Darks is basically almost always a solution. So this is a Fail Champ. Fail Champ deals 2 damage when he hits, and that's what makes this trio so scary. You have Markov, who has a really awkward arena, Great Prince Zod, who is kind of difficult to read at times, and then you finish off with Fail Champion, who deals double damage. Kind of a terrifying combo.
We're good now.
Yeah, once you down Fail Champ, he just loses immediately, basically. Luckily enough. The rest of the fight is completely consistent.
Able to get the 3 shrieks in and able to heal up, get the soul for Dream Wielder, because we are coming up next against 3 very difficult bosses.
So yeah. I will be doing the strat where I damage tank towards the end to try to kill him similar to the first Grim fight, so I need to be really careful for the first part of this fight.
Yeah, that's spicy. The reason why that's really spicy is because Nightmare King Grim deals 2 damage, so damage tanking him is a lot more dangerous. But generally speaking, this boss follows the same pattern as regular Grim, where you just kind of once he's in balloon phase, you just dodge a bunch and then try to make sure to get a bunch of shrieks into his balloon form as well.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
one of the new attacks, the Flame Pillars, is actually a really good one because you can get a ton of nail hits and shrieks in against it.
Yeah.
Really good RNG there at the end.
Yeah, that was kind of spooky. But M managed to skip basically a full balloon cycle on Nightmare King Grim as well.
Alright.
So now we're nearing the end.
Yeah, 2 more bosses to go, and they're the 2 bosses that I am most likely to die to. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys take over commentary while I focus.
Alright. So Pure Vessel is a stronger and faster version of the Hollow Knight, and one of the key points of difference, at least I think, is that Pure Vessel is so fast that your Shade Soul doesn't really have time to recharge half the time between his attacks. So you actually have to be kind of smart about how you're conserving your Shade Cloak.
Yeah, almost all the attacks can be Shade Cloaked through, but being able to time it right and not have it be down at a critical moment is important. You see Emray using the D-Dark iframes again to be able to stand in the middle of that explosion and just keep on dishing out damage with the quick slash. Sort of a nice kind of offensive use of this defensive tactic of D-Dark, which kind of really shows its strength. You see Pure Vessel is also almost done. You can tell when it does the like big noodle attack that it starts to that I think it's when it's at a quarter health is when it starts doing that.
Noodle attack, I love that name. Another thing we didn't quite mention is that when Pure Vessel is like slams into the ground, Emray tries to get really close for a shriek. It's basically guaranteed if you do it correctly, and it's so much damage.
So here we go to Absrad, a harder version of the Radiance, and especially much harder compared to the 106% version.
Yeah, Absrad Radiance is a lot faster. Luckily, you do still get a full heal upon entering this fight, so that's good.
Yeah, what's funny is the full heal is actually a little awkward when you're doing the Fury runs, because you know you get kicked out of the Fury effect. So it's just kind of a fun side effect.
Yeah, it's actually one of the few heal effects that aren't like initiated by you that actually do break you out of Fury.
Incredible phase.
You can also see
yeah.
a pretty cool attack pattern from Emray, where she kind of stays in the ground with wings to get the max number of quick slashes in.
Alright, she's dead. Let's go.
Yeah, if Radiance does her sunburst pattern close to a platform, you can just basically stand right next to her and just wiggle slightly to the sides and mash out an incredible amount of damage with your nail.
Now you can see the climb, the lasers coming a lot faster than the regular Radiance lasers. And we also have this extra phase. And Radiance is probably just a hit away, and there we go. Final hit. Excellent run by Emray.
Yeah, now we're gonna see Bob, the Shade Lord. See, Bob just woke up and he's a bit cranky, so he doesn't like the bright light that Radiance is giving off.
Relatable.
Yeah, I kind of feel for him, you know? It's like you wake up, you just want to go 5 more minutes.
GG. That's like a minute or so behind my actual PB for this type of attempt.
Yeah, 25-33 is pretty good.
Yeah, it's an excellent time.
So yeah.
So now we keep... Sorry, go ahead, Em.